Hello. So on one of my earlier videos, I mentioned that there is a different way that you can change how something feels based on its movement. And that's what I want to focus on today. Now, this is called an energy spin, and it's done in neurolinguistic programming as well as a lot of energy therapies. And what you do is if you're experiencing a negative feeling, once again, you think, whereabouts am I feeling it in my body? So, say your stomach. And you'll think, how strong is that feeling? Always great to scale it out of 10 or with the faces, because that way you've got something to compare it to from start to finish and as you progress along the way. And you'll notice, this is really good if it feels like it's moving, how that feeling is moving. So for example, if I had a nervous feeling, it might be spinning around like this, churning in my stomach. And we see people gesturing all the time in day-to-day life. They're like, oh, it's doing my head in. People will often gesture with their hands how the energy and how that feeling is moving. So firstly, you need to identify how it feels, how it's moving for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically slow it down to a stop and then spin it the other way. So I like to liken this to if I'm having my cup of tea in the mornings. I might stir it round with a spoon. As soon as I finish, I take that spoon out. And as I do that, that liquid starts to slow down all the way to a stop. That's what we're going to do with the feeling. So you notice which way it is spinning. And what you do then is you start to slow it down, noticing how that makes you feel, and bring it to a stop. Once you've done that, you may like to reverse the spin and take it the opposite way, perhaps making it faster or bigger. And you move it and experiment until you get it feeling the best that it can feel for you. And it could be spinning or moving in any direction. You may need to have a little bit of a play with the different directions to identify what your particular feeling state is doing. If it makes you feel worse, obviously slow it down or take it in the opposite direction. It's easier to slow it down to a stop first and then reverse the spin. And just alter it until that feeling feels better. So I hope you find that a nice, quick and useful strategy just to help you feel more settled and more calm. What I'm going to do also, because I've mentioned cups of tea, is just go through a quick mindfulness strategy with you. In life, we get really busy. Lots of stuff happens, and quite often we can get overwhelmed by the different thoughts of all the jobs we have to do, or just our own thought processes, what's going on in our mind. So what we can do is we can do mindful activities and exercises to help bring us back to the present moment. Because often we're thinking either things from the past that are keeping us in the past, or we're thinking about things that we need to do in the future that we forget to be present and in the moment. And that's what I invite you to do today. Because sometimes we can get so in our heads that we forget to enjoy the reality around us. And what mindfulness does is bring us back to that present moment. A moment of being here now, noticing how we feel, noticing with our senses what's going on around us. Things we see, things we hear, things we smell, things we can touch, and things we can taste. And I use mindfulness quite a bit, incorporated into day-to-day life. And I encourage my clients to do the same also. because it isn't always possible if you've got a big schedule of, say, taking tablets, eating meals, seeing different healthcare practitioners, to fit in a long, drawn out, beautiful meditation. Sometimes it's important to have the quick, practical strategies, as I've been showing you through this process, that allow you to make change. So, all of us drink. It keeps us alive and keeps us well. So this is one that's very easy to incorporate into your day-to-day routine. So it might be the first hot drink you have in the morning. It might be the glass of wine you have in the evening. Or it might be like the first sip out of a straw that you have through the day. Whatever it is for you. And I'm just going to reach down and get my mug to show you. Okay. So I'm going to go through imagining my first drink of the day. And my drinks aren't very exciting. I tend to drink hot water. So I might pretend that I'm making a tea or a coffee instead. So what you do is you make this activity mindful. So it's noticing every step of that process. From perhaps as you fill up your kettle, listening to the sounds of the running water, noticing the light reflecting on the water as it fills the kettle, hearing the sound it makes as it hits the surface of the kettle, noticing the feelings of the pressure on your fingers as you turn the tap on and off, how it feels as you put the kettle down, noticing the clicking sound of the kettle being turned on, listening to the changes in the water as it starts to bubble, seeing the kettle light up or turn off, getting your cup, noticing how hot or cold it is on your hands as you place it on the side, and going through each step of the process in a very sensory basis. What you can see, hear, touch, taste and smell. And you do the whole experience mindfully. This is also great with food, particularly if you're wanting to maybe lose weight or take your time with your food and enjoy it a bit more. So what you do once you've made your drink is, once again, you hold it. Notice the heat transference between your hands and the cup. Take time to smell. Notice the aromas and how that makes you feel. Become aware of anything that your body's doing, your posture, how you're sat. Listening to any sounds as you move the cup closer to you. Taking that first sip, noticing the heat or the cool of the liquid as it fills your mouth, the sensations as it goes down your throat. And just taking your time to be mindful and really savour the moment. It allows you to enjoy the process so much more, and it brings you back to reality and helps you to ground. So that is all for me for today. I'll come back again and do another video on grounding, as I've just mentioned. Take care and speak again. Bye bye.